There's so many things that kind of run into the soccer world that are definitely walls. As time goes on, I think that I've learned the more that I've gotten playing time, the more that you can kind of see those and prepare for them, but you can't always avoid them. And I think that's like the biggest journey and the biggest hindsight that you can learn from.
What's up, my friends, and welcome back to another Birdies conversation where we talk about overcoming obstacles. Angel City has partnered with Birdies, our jersey sleeve sponsor and the brand behind the most stylish and comfortable flats. And we're back to lead with purpose on this talk series to discuss important topics to help women and all people rise up both professionally and personally. I'm your host, Fish, but I want to get right into it and introduce our two guests. Angel City's Director of Rehabilitation, Joscelyn Shumate Bourne, and our very own ACFC defender and game-winning goal scorer, Vignola. These two have a very special connection since going through the recovery process last season, and we talk all about it, plus have our own Paige Nielsen Love Fest. So you know what to do, listen in and enjoy. Joss, what started your journey working with athletes?
I have a very unremarkable PT story. I wasn't a former athlete myself, and I went into PT school thinking like this is going to be the thing that sets me apart from everybody. Turns out all of us are ex-athletes, so wasn't that exciting. But I right before PT school, I was able to work with some amazing mentors of mine, and they just kind of paved a way for like the job that I wanted to have. And so I left with that blueprint and applied it to PT school, really put a lot of emphasis and learning about all of our curriculum, but then knowing that in 3 to 5, this is what I wanted to be doing. And I feel very grateful for that because it definitely helps to have a laid path when you're going through a tough time, and PT school is super, super tough. And I think that it's just been monumental for my career path. And then having somebody tell me at my first job that like what I wanted to do, I wasn't able to do it. And I was like, oh, I need to do this. No problem. I'll get it done. And then just pursuing that. So it's just helped funnel me into working with athletes.
Thank you for sharing this journey. And it's, you said unremarkable, but I think everyone's journey is remarkable in their own way. And I know we're going to get deeper into yours, and hopefully maybe at the end you see that it's a little more remarkable than you think it is. And Ime, for you, 2 goals on this season. I know it's going to be hard to choose, but which one has been your favorite so far?
Oh God, that is tough. I'm gonna have to say San Diego, just because it was away. It was at San Diego.
Yes.
Yes.
But there's some personal stuff with Washington, so it was good to get a goal against Washington. So
they can both be your favorite.
San Diego was a game winner, so that has to be the favorite one.
Dude, the celebration pictures were the best.
Oh, so cool.
Oh,
he was
like raw
telling me
emotion.
all about. Yes. He was like, I had to capture every moment in that. I was like, well, you got it. You got all of it.
No, I think it totally speaks to your journey and just like the breakthrough on all levels that is encapsulated in those kind of moments. So I get how it's hard to choose between this. But yeah, San Diego, come on. That was a pretty iconic game.
That was crazy.
Well, cool. I think both of those, kind of lay context to what we're going to talk about, just about your journeys. And along any journey are obstacles. I know as humans, we don't really enjoy that part of it, but this whole conversation is about just learning how to embrace it and through what you've done to embrace yours. But before we get into it, I think it's important to just identify, what are some common obstacles that occur in sports, that occur in your profession, Joss, or just a personal life that people may, come up across. And this can be something you've experienced personally or not, but just to kind of lay the groundwork for this. So Joss, I'll start with you. What are some common obstacles maybe that you've experienced in your profession?
Man, I think one of the biggest obstacles is something that like we prepare for, but it's just never something that happens like super easily. Like when you have something that's straightforward, when somebody gets injured, that's the first obstacle. It just is really unfortunate. There's a lot of things that tie into being injured, like some identity loss, frustration, let alone having to deal with the injury itself. But I think one of the things for me is when that injury that should be pretty straightforward becomes not straightforward, and having to navigate that with the athlete, and having something that should have a direct timeline, and when it doesn't have a direct timeline, and how that changes, and how you have to continue to motivate someone to continue to work towards their goals. It's just a little bit more acute, and a little bit more, I for me it's been a little bit more devastating in this job than it has been in previous jobs. But I think that's one of the biggest obstacles that I face in my job on a regular basis.
Yeah, they're like constant problem solving and also trying to hold someone's heart and hopes and everything that's involved in it. So, very delicate job, and I know you do a beautiful job with that. Um, and May, what about for you? What are some common obstacles that maybe professional athletes experience? Yeah, professional athletes. We'll go there.
Oof. I mean, other aside than like injury, I think there is a huge mental piece to the professional game that is thankfully getting talked about a lot more nowadays. But I think that with being a professional athlete, like you have your day isn't just yours anymore. Like you have a whole team. And that's a good thing, kind of in the backhand side, just because you have more people that you can kind of lean on and help, which I think was the biggest part of my journey, just coming back from injuries, being able to lean on other people than just myself. But I think it also like you you can lose yourself being so hyper focused on your performance, wanting to play, not playing time. Like there's so many things that kind of run into the soccer world that are definitely walls for sure. That I think as time goes on, I think that I've learned the more that I've gotten playing time, the more that you can kind of see those and prepare for them. But you can't always avoid them. And I think that's like the biggest journey and the biggest hindsight that you can learn from.
Yeah, I love how you say that you can't avoid them because it's like there's no point in trying to avoid them or like wasting energy in that. It's like you said,
Yeah.
preparation and things like that. But and that looks different whether you're playing or you're on a professional career and you're maybe in school or if you're trying to get seen by
Yeah.
a college. Like all of those different obstacles that come up with you know not making the team, not getting responded to by the college coach. Like all of these things that are a part of this beautiful journey we get to experience. And actually, Kristen shared something personal about her journey the other day, and it really resonated with like this conversation. And she said, some call these setbacks, but I don't like that language because it implies that another path is one that I should have been on, and those are expectations I don't accept. And it was like, it's beautiful because it's like we
I
think
like
this
that.
linear thing, right? But really, it's not. And like obstacles are a part of that. And I know we're going to get into your stories, but like for me personally, that has been every major growth moment of like shooting forward was after those obstacles. Um, so with that, Ma, you started your career with us and it was a beautiful start. And then I know you got hit hard with an obstacle like at the beginning of it. So, and then we just talked about your two goals that you scored, which were these huge breakthrough moments. So, can you talk us a little bit about that journey and how did you navigate that last year? And then breaking through to this moment of the season.
Oh, last year. Oh my goodness. I think with coming into Angel City, like I kind of already knew that I was injured. Like I knew that I had something wrong with my hip. I just hadn't exactly figured out what it was yet. So coming to Angel City, like I was already a little bit nervous because I had all these goals for myself, but I knew that there was something that was going to be holding me back, and I didn't know exactly how far along I'd be able to get to play with this injury. And so within the first 2 weeks of preseason, like I just kind of made the decision, like I can't Like, I won't be able to keep going at the pace that I want to keep going if I don't get this fixed. So there was just a bunch of back and forth of like, okay, well, is this the right thing to do? Like, this is definitely going to change my path, but I think it's what I'm going to need to do to be able to become the player that I want to become down the road. And so, that first week after post surgery, I think was the most mentally tired I had been, just because coming to the NWSL was one of my biggest goals in my soccer career, and I kind of felt like it was taken away from me just because of this hip injury. And it was sad just because it was new to everyone. Like, it wasn't just new to me, it was a whole new team, a whole new atmosphere, a whole new environment. That was something I was very much excited to get to start and kind of start from the ground up with everyone. And I did. It was just on the sideline and not on the field. But I think with the hip injury, I learned a lot more patience. And I think that was my biggest thing that I definitely need to work on, was patience, and just seeing that what I'm doing now is going to help me in the long run. It may not be fun now, but it's going to be worth it. And Joscelyn made that clear to me every day. You know, there were good days and there were bad days. There were days that I was ready to show up and work, and there were days that I just really didn't want to do anything. And she was there for every single moment of them and was supportive through whatever day it was.
It was like good days and then days that we had to meditate. That's the kind of we days some guided meditation. Those are the kind of days we were. Like,
and now that's a game changer for you both. So like even the bad days turns into that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So yeah.
And I think that like kind of leads into another thought about how important it is to have the right people around you in these moments, in all moments, but especially in these like really fragile, vulnerable states where we're like, you know, feel that disconnection from the team, feel that, you know, separation from where we thought we were going to be, like all of that stuff. So, you know, Joscelyn, with your job, you talked about it, you know, how positivity is like your superpower. What have you seen is most important to have around an athlete when they're going through this obstacle in terms of people that are surrounded with them?
I think that is having the people is big, because one thing that I didn't necessarily have as much experience with, or not in this type of way, was that our athletes are getting a ton of things like sent their way, shoveled their way, a ton of things. And part of what I have to do, or of what our team has to do, is just to be like a voice that can filter through some of that. And it's a balance of being able to respect what was given to the athlete, and then also say, like, this is what I think is the best option for you, if that is what needs to be said at that time. For me, one of my mentors said to me early, we took an example. It happened to be an athlete, and she was like, this is the thing, or this is the reason why it's so important for you to have the right type of people around you. It's important for you to have people who will push you to make the right decisions, encourage you to become a better you. And since she told me that, I've been like, I need to be those people. Like, I need to have those people around me, but I also need to be those people. So that's why I try to like stay up on research, learn about a lot of things. There's some things that I don't love and are not my favorite, like flushes, but I am learning to be open and a little bit more understanding about why they occur. But I that is like my biggest goal in this whole thing, is to be one of the people, or be the best people around our athletes, or around my friends, around my family. It's important.
I think that's huge, because like we were saying, obstacles are in any path you're walking in life. So to be that person every day for who are your people is essential. It may, you know, this is going to be a little bit of possible love fest to Joss right now, but because she was that person for you, one of those people for you, you know, I know you had a team. What was it about Joscelyn that really like picked you up in these moments, whether it was, you know, stuff technically, stuff emotionally, things, whatever it was?
I think there's a couple things. I think one of the biggest things was just like not being so serious. Like we didn't have to be serious all the time. We could have fun. Like that was she allowed me to be 110% my true self, and that could get crazy
Mm.
sometimes. But she let it happen, and those were the days that I needed. So just kind of let loose and let all the energy and whatever out. Um, and then her just listening, like there were days that I just needed to talk and vent. Like, I'm pissed off, so she's gonna let me say whatever I need to say and then recoup at the end. And now we can take a breath and now we can move on. Like, it was anything I needed to get out. Jocelyn was always listening.
I love that.
It made
I think...
warm-ups very interesting.
How so? Can we go story time?
No. It's confidential info.
Oh, dang it. You said everything was fair game, Joss. Come on. No, okay. We can respect that. No, I think that's so powerful. Listening, like letting you be you through that whole process of the journey, and its ups and downs, and there's good and bad and things that happen. And I've been there. I had 2 ACLs in college, so like my PT saying that I could come back in the time that I wanted to come back, and like believing that, and then my coach also like feeding in to your point, Emma, of like feeling like you're not a part of it because you're not a part of it in the way you want to be or you have always been. So let's talk about that a little bit. How did you adjust to the role? I think that's a really tough one for any athlete or any person in a career to like feel, you have your expectation, you have your role you've been playing, and maybe you're moved out of it. How did you feel that you were still a part of it all equally?
I don't know. Like, I think also with it being new, like a whole new team, whole new environment, like all the girls were new to each other. So those were the relationships that like are a lot easier to build on the field. And you learn a lot about a player and a person, like with how they play. You wouldn't think, but you learn a lot. And so I think it was just also tough, like knowing that it was going to be pretty much the entire season, like, okay, but like I'm still going to be able to maybe get a chance to be on the field. Like, how do I handle that? Because yes, I'm on the team and I was a part of it and with you guys every training, no matter what, but I wasn't physically on the field with y'all. So how can I kind of mentally feel locked in and mentally still feel like a part of the team when for 6-7 months like I really wasn't involved in a full team practice, and then all of a sudden I'm in the last 15 minutes of a game playing Mexico. Like I was honestly not even mentally checked in. I didn't even know it was happening. Like it takes a second, and like I think that was the toughest part about that is just like really when I feel most a part of the team is when I'm playing, because I feel like my energy comes out on the field and all of it. It all just kind of comes into play, honestly.
Yeah, like that's how you build the connection with your teammates, right? And so then when that's stripped, it's like, well, we eat together, but like the bonding's on the field when we're like sliding for each other. Yeah. No, I definitely get that. And that's why I think it's super important for anybody who's on the peripheral of somebody who's experiencing that obstacle or not setback, obstacle, like to be aware of like how to bring someone in too, right? Because that's key. That's why we love team sports, is because we're all a part of it. Birdies, the game changer, the limited edition version of the Swift that rocks Angel City's official colors and emblem. This shoe is ready to inspire, support, and empower you to be a game changer. Go find yours at birdies.com, angelcity.com, and the Birdies app at Kinney Store. There's that phrase like you win some, you lose some. But I think with this whole context is like you win or you learn, right? And so how did you reframe your obstacle back last season, or your one you're experiencing right now? But how do we really reframe that to be like excited, the growth opportunity, right? Fix their growth mindset. Like how to be like, oh, this is my time. This is my lesson. Like I'm ready to level up.
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Josh. Or Emma, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna, as soon as you said like, it just kind of reminded me like, as soon as the injury happened, well, not as soon as the surgery happened, and that first like week of just kind of being home, like I just kind of like had time to mentally think like, okay, like where I was at mentally, I was not in a great spot. I was down, I was frustrated, I wasn't feeling confident in my play, like I was doubting my ability to play in the NWSL. Kind of all those things were coming in, and I was like, okay, wait, I have 6 to 8 months to genuinely work on my mental health. And I feel like I never actually put time in for that. And I think that was kind of a blessing in disguise, was that now I have this time to kind of build this other part of my game that I know needs to be worked on. But maybe if this didn't happen, I wouldn't have. It would be a completely different look. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the moments that like really, they shift us out of our habits, out of our routine, out of everything that we're just like moving forward with. So then it opens up like, oh, well, that's an area I haven't looked at in a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one I got by with without focusing on.
Yeah.
Like I remember with the ACL, it was such a lesson on like gratitude to be able to like being able to walk for the first time was so nice. Jog, playing with the team, like the little things. Like it's like, oh, I don't have my limp anymore. Yes. I can drop the brace, the crutches. And you nailed it with like blessing in disguise. Like I think sometimes we just put so much resistance into this stuff instead of like just being open to this experience in front of us and whatever we're about to learn from it by like showing up as our authentic selves, like you said, with the right people like Joss, and then really like growing and elevating. And when you stepped on the field this year, dude, it was a beautiful story. It's like we all know what you went through, and to see you earned every bit of it and the joy, everything. So I think you're a huge testament to like why to reframe and how to thrive through this kind of stuff. But what about you, Joss? What's your perspective on you win or you learn?
I just to go back to MA. There's a picture that Will took of us when of us when MA went to her like first full practice, and we're like arm in arm jumping in the air celebrating.
It is the best picture. It is like
it was such a good feeling.
Oh,
it was so
it really
funny.
Was. It really was. God, every day I'm asking her, when am I put my cleats on? Yeah. Put them on today.
So good. So good. Never, yeah, that's definitely like a moment I will cherish for the rest of my life. It was just like, I don't know, just genuine happiness. Like, I can be happy for everybody when they hit these milestones, like personally knowing, like you said, Fish, like what it was like to run for the first. I hate running, but having running taken away from you and then being able to do it again, it's just so exhilarating.
Yes.
And it was just I don't know, it's just an opportunity to just be genuine. I mean, like I don't know how many people I'm gonna be able to lock arms with and like jump up and down on the side of the field, but they gave me that opportunity, so I appreciate you for that. Thank you.
I think that really speaks to, and we'll skip that last one because I have another one for you, Joss, because I think you have such a rare perspective of you're the person who helps people overcome. Helps
most
like
hated.
Everyone who comes to you comes with an obstacle. Yeah, like I mean that's a huge role to play and a really rare experience to see someone go through all the time, or a bunch of individuals go through. And then we know unfortunately we've had a good amount that you've had to work with. So, what have you seen from your perspective that's like helps people break through these moments? Like what's kind of like, if you would say 3 things that are really essential to when you are hit with an obstacle?
I think something that you need is an open mind, and an open mind for understanding that the path isn't linear. The path is gonna take multiple turns and ups, downs, and it's okay. It's just a lot of people come in and they think that like, okay, I'm hurt here and this is the day that I should be better. And so it should just be straight up. And when it's not, they're very frustrated. They're it's a tough time. And so then it's like I have something on repeat, not repeat per se. It's not a script, but it's just like, listen, this is rehab. It's up and down, and it's okay. And that's a part of everybody's journey. Nobody just goes straight up or straight across. It just is. This is how rehab goes. And it's an experiment as much as anything, because we're just giving a little bit, trying a couple of things, seeing how you react to it, and then if you react well, we do that. If you don't, we pull back, and it's just an experiment. um so an open mind. I think you have to be able to celebrate the small wins, because depending on how, maybe it's not as important for something that takes like 2 to 3 weeks, but something that's going to be like a longer journey, like what Emma and I went through last year. What Emma went through, I supported last year. um it like there would be days where we would do like the smallest little movement, and I would be like, we couldn't do that last week, and she's like, okay, and I'm like, no, we're taking a minute and we're celebrating this right here.
And I'd be like, took me a second.
Like, we're still in the tent. I'm not on the field. Why are you jumping up and down like we're on the field? And it's just because like this is a long way, and each one of these is like a little mini win that's going to help you towards the big win. And so I think it's really important to just take the time to celebrate those little wins. And then I think something else is to have a good outlet, something for like when you are really frustrated, and like it is not lost on me that sometimes people are sick of my voice, sick of my face, and sick of me in general, and so you just need like an outlet from me, and something that you can do to just like let go of the frustration. And rehab's hard, and I really wish I could be doing my activity and whatnot. So having a good outlet is amazing to do. And like last year we chatted about, we did the guided meditations and chatted about murder mysteries and documentaries.
Yep.
And man,
we learned a lot.
It was a good time. Yes, we learned.
I know, it's what a contrast those two. Like,
guided meditation, murder.
Yeah. Yin yang, I love it. I think those are huge. Open mindset, celebrate the wins, healthy, positive outlet. Like, that's essential. And May, what about you, from your perspective, being in it? You know, what are 3 things that you would give advice for somebody who's experiencing some kind of obstacle in their life?
Definitely the biggest one is patience, and put trust into the people who you're working with. Just know that they are trying to do what's best for you. And then also just finding things that are outside of the sport, I think, was also very helpful. Like I feel like that was a big thing of like not becoming consumed with it, because I felt like the more I thought about it, the more sad or pissed off I would get. So I think finding things that like are hobbies. Mine was drawing in an adult coloring book. Like there are so many things that you could kind of do to keep your mind off of what's actually hurting. I think that was my biggest thing. Trust, patience, and a hobby.
I like that. I think exploring yourself outside of the like situation or the world of that situation is so huge. Sure. Especially for anyone. Like a lot of these things are our identities in ways, a major part of it. And I think that's where so much of the suffering comes from. So yeah, I definitely have that one. As we just saw with you two, it takes a team to get through any of this stuff. So let's shout someone out. Who has been pivotal? We'll start with you. Emma, pivotal when it comes to facing these obstacles that you've gone, and it could be these ones recently or just in your life. Who's been that kind of key person to help you get through this?
I would say more recent, like within the past like year, 2 years with this injury, I'd say besides the staff, I would say Paige. Paige has been huge. With her surgery that she had in the beginning of the season last year, we were in and out of the tent together. And I think that she, with how she is and just like her calmness and like how she just kind of faces things and like head on, but kind of with more humor, like I caught on to that. Like that's kind of how our relationship grew. Was literally started in the tent And now we're out there on the field together. So it just she really helped, just kind of telling me that they're all here, that she's here, that they have faith in me, that they have trust in me, that they're not worried about what's going to happen when I come back. Like even with the ankle injury now, like they are they have been there this whole time, and keep reminding me of that. Um, and I think maybe more in the not the past, but more outside of like this environment, I would definitely say my parents. Just because, especially now in the past couple of years, like I've actually been able to accept the help and accept like listening to them after 25 years. But
You
um,
beat me.
but they have just been a huge light that I think they need to be that I need to show more towards them, just because they are have been there every step of the way. You know, out here after my hip surgery, they came out here for 2 weeks and basically just lived with us to help me come into any games as much as possible. Like they've just always been in my corner.
I remember when they stopped me the first time I met them. They stopped me at a game, and dude, your mom's like energy. Speaking of contagious energy, like I was just like, yeah, like I left that interaction fired up. I don't even know what I was about to do, but I was like, oh, it all makes sense. Like beautiful, beautiful humans that are just full of life. And we're so excited for you. Like I wish I could have captured that joy. I mean, I know they share it with you, but it was like, oh, that's love.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Thanks.
They seriously are just amazing group of people, like amazing two people. Like I just it can still remember when May was playing the Chicago game and I bumped into her parents and like a joke her mom told, and I just still continue to laugh about it myself.
I don't even think they're trying
like,
to be funny. That's the thing. It's just
so good. So good. They're seriously amazing, amazing, amazing people.
Well, I know you have an amazing family as well, Joss.
Yes,
I've got to meet them. Yes, but who's been pivotal on your journey? I know you've experienced a lot of obstacles yourself. So, who's helped you through that?
I'm gonna say Paige. No,
shout out Paige.
In the tent, started in the tent.
You know what's really funny about Paige is that she has like a reach like nobody I have ever met in my entire life. Like the way that she can relate to so many different people on the team, from like just it's just wild who she could just like sit down and connect with. Like she's if you're like we're having a difficult situation, sometimes she's the person we call in to like have a discussion with, and she's willing to like have a tough conversation but make it light. I remember she's like not like she's like checked me for not listening to her the way that I could. She's like, that's not what I said. This is what I said. Let's talk about this. But it's also like quick to like sing my praises, which helps, or not sing my praises, but like pick me up if she maybe feels like I'm doubting myself, or you know, like there was a lot of like new things that I was exposed to last year with what the injuries that we had, and she was quick to make me laugh, and then also quick to like pick me up. And I just man, she's just somebody you can like appreciate, and I'm telling you, like the reach she has is wild. It's so wild. Enough about Paige. But
anyway. Love fest for Paige. We'll make sure she hears all of this.
Talking about boost her ego a little bit.
She's gonna walk in here tomorrow. Yeah. But I think I have to. One of the biggest things that I found to be successful in this job is, to help be successful in this job is that you have to have a great support system and somebody who gets it. And I am grateful for the people that we work with, because we're all like going into battle together and just trying to make it through the day, like overcome whatever obstacle that we have throughout the day, whether it's just, again, celebrating some of the small wins that we have during the day, or celebrating the small moments that we have that are wins while we're tackling other things. But I'm really grateful for my family. My husband gets it. I'll show up late and he's like, here's dinner. And my kids are really involved in the games. They know players. Jace Jace and Jerome affectionately call Mads Auntie Mads. Jace packed MA like little goldfish
snack bags
for the road trip.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's really great to have them like be supportive and asking me, when do we have a game, what's going on at practice, how is everybody, drawing pictures for Danny, and just really supporting a dream of mine, and just managing the challenges that I come across along the way. So I'm really grateful for them. They really have helped me be here.
Shout out to the fam. That's beautiful that they're all in with you.
Yeah.
Well, my friends, that was beautiful. That was a great conversation. So much, I think anyone doing anything they're doing in life can take away some stuff to just help them hit anything that they're about to come across. You know, all the obstacles that are on this non-linear path we call life and are grateful for. So again, thank you both for the time and everything, and sharing some of your intimate journey last year. Like, I think, you know, we don't always see that stuff or ever see that stuff. So it's really cool to show what happens when you're not on the field, which is a big part of everyone's journey too. And the people that are on the team to get you out of there. So one thing we always end with too is like, what's going on in your future and the horizon, and how can we keep track of you? If it's Angel City stuff, if it's something you got going on the side, like whatever in your life. We'll start with you and May. What's on your horizon?
Oh, thank goodness.
I know. I've been starting with you a lot, Joss. I'm gonna give you a second to think about your answer.
Oh my gosh.
I saw you sweating a little bit.
You did.
I did. I was like, all right, let's put it.
There's not much happening in the personal life. Just keep following Angel City. Yeah.
Yes.
We got a couple
We can do
Challenge
that
Cup
for
games coming up, so. But then
Yes.
League game not till August 5th, so that's when you'll see me again. But yes, keep following Angel City.
Yes. Awesome. What about, all right, Joss, that was quick. Did you think about it?
Oh my gosh. I guess in some ways it's the same answer. Like, just send us so many good vibes. Hopefully we keep everybody healthy for the rest of the season. Our people who are working on becoming healthy, they get healthy quickly. Just send them some love and light on their journey. I am, again, not really doing a ton personally, except for being here at work, supporting the people here. But yeah, hopefully I just learn something new in the future, learn a new skill to add to my craft, and continue to help these women become better every day.
I love that. Send the love and light, everyone. You heard it. And follow the World Cup, because we got to send love and light overseas too.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you both. I will not take any more of your time. But have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Oh.